Happy and blessed Wednesday, everybody. Doing a Wednesday check in. For those who are new to this podcast, my name is Catherine Barnett and I go by Cat. And this is the Cat Barnett podcast. So, welcome to everyone who's new. And I also help empower people, particularly women, with confidence in their faith and fitness by implementing strategies to gain clarity, direction, and purpose. Hello, doing a Wednesday check in. I hope everybody is doing well. We are officially on the third week of January. It's crazy how it's already flying, y'all, but my encouragement to y'all is to stay committed to your commitments, whatever goals you have, even if you started wrong or not as consistent as you'd like, it is completely okay because we're still in January. So it's not too late to get back on track. But I am super excited for today because I have a very special guest on the podcast with me that I can't wait for you guys to hear from. Um, I first want to have him tell his story and everything, but if we were here all day, I'd be talking about his accolades for a while, but first and foremost, he is a family guy. He is a husband. He's a father. You'll always see him with his kids or his wife on social media. And I have known this guy for quite a long time. So that's a blessing in itself. But like I said, I'll let him, speak for himself. But I believe that basketball was our first love, kind of before we could even walk. We just have loved the game, and we're thankful to still be around it to this day. And like I said, he has many accolades that he received even in high school. And he was so good at basketball that he went on to play at Purdue University for 4 years from 2012 to 2016. So he is a former collegiate basketball player. And then I believe he'll correct me if I'm wrong. In 2015 and 2016, he was Defensive Player of the Year, and he is currently a college sports analyst on the Big Ten Network. So if you ever watch college sports and you see the Big Ten, you'll see him live reporting on the TV. So look out for him. And, I'll let him tell you guys about his story and his journey. So, everyone, please help me give a warm welcome to my guy, Rapheal Davis. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Cat? I appreciate the intro. Absolutely.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, I got to because you got so many great accolades, and it's going to just keep going from here. And like I said before we even started this, I just appreciate you for hopping on with your busy schedule. I know you're even driving, so just listen, but don't crash on me, please.
No,
All right,
I
good.
appreciate you. Appreciate you inviting me on the pod.
Yeah, no worries, no doubt. And because we're also streaming this just so you know, Raphael, from Instagram and YouTube. So you won't be able to see people commenting, but I can let you know what they're saying. But they're welcoming you on. And
What's up?
yeah, before we, get too far into this episode, I just kind of want you to tell people who are listening or gonna watch the replay of this, who is Rayfield Davis? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, like from Fort Wayne, obviously. Um, Grew up playing ball. That was it. Ball and football, played Metro and all that, and all the youth leagues on the south side of town from the 04 in Southwest. I mean, in the Southeast, and then the Upper Bound League. So, I mean, basketball was everything, especially at a young age. And then, like you said, growing up, I had a brother, I had a sister. They're both older, so I was the youngest, so I was taken care of by everybody in the house in a sense. My dad was a cop. My mom didn't work early and then started working, so it was cool. Everything was good for us. It was fun. Then from young age, went to ended up going to Southside. We were good. We were all right. We were
Those,
decent at
for those
Southside.
who don't understand, Southside is a high school. So Southside High School, that's
Oh
where
yeah,
he
yeah,
went.
yeah. Yeah, I'm talking to. I forgot you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm talking to you like it's just us. But from
Right. Hey, it's
Southside, and then I ended up transferring to Lalamere as a prep school. Then going to prep school at Lalamere Prep in like northern Indiana, and then from there going to Purdue. But nah, it was everything was good growing up. It was a lot of basketball, a lot of traveling, a lot of AAU, but ended up working out in the end.
hey, such a blessing in that. And your journey still, I wouldn't say it was that straight path. you know um you still had to work hard for everything that you've gotten up to this
Oh yeah, no
point.
doubt.
So I guess, also tell, people about your journey on how you became even a college sport analyst. Like, what inspired you to stay in and around, the sport world?
Oh, that's a good question. Cause let me say this. I didn't even know there was something that I could do for real. Let me say that. Cause like it's not even something that I ever thought about growing up. Like I one day I would be on TV. Like that's not even something like I always thought like I was going to the league. Like, you know what I mean? You think about just hooping. Like for me, that's what it was about, just hooping. Even when I was done hooping, I went and got a job. Like I sold after Purdue, after I got hurt, I ended up rupturing my disc in my back after Purdue. And then I got hurt in China. So then I got hurt, whatever. I had to stop playing ball, whatever, whatever. So for me, I didn't even stay around the game at first. I went and sold pharmaceutical drugs in Georgia. That's when I moved down to Georgia. I moved to Atlanta. I did that. That's where I met my wife. I all of that down south. And then I
Okay.
kind of got back into it. Because for me, you never kind of taught doing other things in the sport that's not the sport. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like I kind of got introduced to me when I saw another one of my former guys that had played at Purdue. He was doing it, and I was kind of like, in a sense, if he could do it, I could do it. You know what I mean? And then I kind of I started just reaching out to people. I reached out to him. He actually helped, and that's another thing too. Like, you can't be afraid to ask somebody for help. You know what I mean? Especially somebody that's doing what you're doing, because not everybody. Some people gonna block. Some people gonna hate, but some people will really just help you. You know what I mean? Because they ain't really threatened in their position. Because like I ain't take nothing from him. He's still doing it. He bigger. You know what I mean? So anyway, he ended up helping me reach out to some people. I ended up sending a lot of emails, following up, trying to get an audition, all this stuff for about a year and a half. And then COVID hit, and then that took a little longer. And then I got an audition, and then and then they brought me in from that audition. And they brought me in. It's another thing too, because I only started with like 4 days for the season,
Wow.
and then some people like COVID had re-picked up. Some people got sick, and then like I always tell people now, like sometimes your availability could be your best ability. You know what I mean? Because like I
Mm.
just happened to be available, and I just was like, yeah, I'll come. Like, and I wasn't getting sick. You know what I mean? So ended up working out to where I was getting extra practice. I was getting extra reps. They would see me as reliable. You know what I mean? And then it ended up working out to where it is now. But for me, that's like why we started our foundation at home. It's like because for me it's like so many kids get tricked into just playing ball, and then when the ball don't bounce no more, no matter at what age that is for them, you just never know what happened to them. Because I got teammates that played at Purdue that been to jail since Purdue. You know what I mean? That's doing bad right now. Like not just because you go to college and play D1, I mean life gonna be good for you. Like not everybody go to the league, not everybody go overseas. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where we try to teach the kids at a younger age that you can do more in hoop without playing hoop. You know what I mean? Like so,
Right.
like now because we were doing it, having camps and all that, teaching it. But then I got on TV, and then it became more believable to the kids, if that makes sense. So then they get to see me on TV. We get to bring in for like doctors, like team doctors, you know what I mean, like to camp, and physical therapists to camp, because we have a lot of camps and like spring break, youth, Thanksgiving break, summer break. Every time the kids out of school, we pretty much have a camp. So like we not only hoop, but we bring in people that if they don't continue to hoop, it's different avenues to stay around hoop. You know what I mean? So I think that's because I never set out to be like an analyst or nothing like that. But now that I'm doing it, that's one of the closest things, coach closest to hoop. You know what I mean? And so many kids don't understand. You can find a way. Not even just me being on on the camera, in front of the camera, but it's still people behind the camera that's making everything go. So
Right.
their job is just watching sports all day. So that's why I take a bunch of kids through the network so they can see it's different jobs in here. Like kids think about music and being the producer and all this stuff, but like they could be producers of the basketball TV shows. You know what I mean? Or like the director, or like even the cameraman. The cameraman, we just in there. We may be in front of the camera, but they right there. We watching the same games. We chilling. They just, you know what I mean? So I think it's just a lot of different ways that being in this job that showed me that we could show the youth at a young age. Because then you start thinking about too, like how many people you know that just like you can think of in your head that may no longer be here or may be doing time, or but just think if maybe they had a goal to do something at a younger age, they may not have tricked it off early. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like so many kids start tricking life off around 14, 15. But think if you had a goal, like one of my kids that come to camp, and I call them my kids on purpose, but like he been wanting to be an engineer since he was 11, because we've been taking him back and forth to Purdue. We've been in camps and all of this stuff. And he texted me yesterday about the engineering intern program. So it's one of the things where like I doubt he mess it up, because
Right.
he kind of know what the outlook is even outside of sports. So
Right.
like, and he plays sport. He a varsity athlete. So I think I know it's a long way to answer, and I don't know if I ramble, but yeah,
No.
that's kind of cause yeah, like you said, it's work. Like I always tell the kids, like I always tell them, everything they want is on the other side of hard, and like the
Mm,
work gonna show. Like the work gonna end up showing. Like you see, it's gonna end up working out. Like as long as you put the work in, like we started working at a young age. As long as you work for it, it'll work. As long as you can ask for help, you accept help, you can take coaching, you kind of know how to play the game a little bit, because it's all a game. And then you find your way, you find somewhere you fit in, and then you make yourself valuable, and then you find your way how to make it grow, and then you find your way how to bring more people in the door, and then I think that's kind of the outlook of kind of what we try to do.
I love it. And I want to dissect a little bit of what you said because it was all great. I just want people to catch everything that you said. So the big one of the biggest things that I'm gonna start taking it now, if you don't mind, that your availability your availability can be the best to your ability. So you were available when others weren't. So you got the opportunity to even be a college analyst in the first place. And I think one of those key things too, you said it took you even over a year and a half. So you didn't give up though, because so many people would have been like, man, it's not happening quick enough. I'm just going to give it up and try something new. But it's just like exercising or starting a business. Not everything is going to happen overnight. So we have to actually be patient, but also still, having that faith that everything's gonna work out. We're putting the work in. We're gonna get rewarded eventually. So
Right.
I also love that you said that, and you also went on a little bit about, since I was gonna ask you a question about that. We'll ask about your foundation that you started here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But I want to say before I do that, like, you don't know how much too that you're an inspiration to the kids, because like you said, there a lot of us growing up, all we seen was like if you weren't a basketball person or a rapper, like what is there else for us to do, you know? So it's like there's more. You can still be something else. You don't have to just be, you know, a professional basketball player or a rapper or in the music industry. But we're grateful that we're still around sports. You know, I coach at Paul Harding and I'm a manager at both of the Plex facilities here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'm grateful and blessed that I'm still around it. You're still around it, but it's still ways around it that we're not necessarily playing. So I also want to just say thank you because you're being an inspiration to show kids that you can still be a part of the sports world whether you're not playing. So that's awesome as well, Rapheal, for real. And then you know, you talked about a little bit about your foundation. For those who don't know that are watching, Rapheal is a co-founder of, it's called the Crew Life Basketball Foundation that he created here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So you kind of talked about that a little bit, but talk about like what, you know, inspired you to start that foundation here and give back to the city of Fort Wayne.
Uh, hmm. Honestly, what started it too was like we was coming up. We had just like so many different like little leagues we can go hoop in. You know what I mean? Like you may catch you at the Harding League without good in. You may catch you at the
All
you
right, you
catch
going?
somebody in Upward. You know what I mean? You gonna catch somebody at the gym. You know what I mean? You'll catch somebody at Bethlehem after school, and then like you, it was a thing where like it was always somewhere to hoop. It was always somewhere to go, and during that time, you had a lot of players going to hoop after high school. Like you had, especially from the south side of town, like you had every year was dudes going off. Like every year was somebody going, or somebody that had a
Yeah,
chance to go, or even anything about being ranked in the country. You had dudes ranked in the country year after year from Fort Wayne. You know what I mean? So, and everything kind of ran through the south side in a sense. And it kind of got to the point where when I was moving, I was living in Atlanta, and I reached out to one of the guys at the Gym Rats program, the Indie Heat program or whatever, and they just was like the kids on the South Side not good enough no more,
yeah,
and that was their excuse to like why nobody from the South Side been on the Indie Heat program, the actual real program, the EYBL program in a long time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I kind of like was like my thinking was, well, they not, y'all saying they aren't good enough by the time they get to high school because nobody working with them when they're young. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to. Then you think about it, all those gyms closed down out south. The southeast closed. The southeast wide closed. Old
close.
Fort closed. Upward Bound left. Al Gooding moved to Nap. You know what I mean? Like everything kind of just shut down, kind of like one by one a little bit. So it was a thing where it's not no youth leagues going on like it used to be. So kids was it's kids not learning the game at the rate they are because one, and then you think about SAC. We had SAC from fourth grade. We had ignore that and all of that because of that program kind of monopolized the city in a sense, and then didn't take the
Mm,
responsibility to fill it. You know what I mean? Fill the voids. So my thing was, and then for that for certain programs, especially nowadays, you got to pay so much to play. So my thing was kind of how could we kind of grow hoop back on the south side for kids that maybe not be able to pay 100, 200 for a camp for coaches that never played basketball before. You know what I mean? Like or play for training or like all that type of stuff. So we started with camps. We started with having free camps and all that stuff for kids, and it'd be myself. I hooped. A couple of my college teammates from Purdue would come down. Like Lisa would come and coach. She
yeah,
hooped obviously at a high level. So it's a thing. Coach Taylor, one of the best high school coaches in the city, he'd come and coach. So we would come and give like real. We still do like we give like real basketball instruction, and we do it for free. So it's a thing where our last camp had like 130 kids or whatever. So it's been real cool to grow that. But outside of that, we also, because like I said, we had different programs growing up that exposed us to certain stuff. You know what I mean? We got to see stuff early. Like if you
Right.
start traveling early, I think traveling as a kid really helps kids. You know, see stuff outside of what they normally see. So like, and then I feel like if you don't show a little kid what college looks like young, they don't know what they gonna miss out on when you telling them to go to college. You know what I mean? Because that's what we tell high school kids, like go to college, get a degree, get a, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
if I don't know what college really look like on a Saturday before a football game, like, you know what I mean? Like, so we do a lot of college trips too. Like, we didn't went up to Purdue for weekends. We didn't went to DePaul. We didn't went to UIC. We didn't been all over. Really, we didn't seen a bunch of campuses, and the kids have been exposed to a lot of different stuff. So I think it's just been from the college trips to the, because not even just basketball. We got football teams and all of that, do all of that stuff. So it's been cool putting it all together.
Yeah. And
And the
it's
crew
really
and the crew stands for because the crew is what me and our guys called each other growing up. Like it was myself, you know what I mean, the guys growing up, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
the Deuce, one of the guys, Deuce came up with the acronym. We kind of just flipped it, and then he community responsibility, education, and will, and that's kind of what kind of our four pillars that we stand by. Because no matter the athlete we got or like the kid we got, like you got to be doing your job in the classroom. You know what I mean? Like I ain't telling you got to have all A's, but you got to at least be trying your hardest.
Right.
And I
Student
think that's
first.
the
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, that's the biggest, like the yeah, because no matter if you come up two parent household, one parent household, when you leave your house, somebody gonna influence you.
Right.
So we try to be that kind of that first cool influence, but we cool, but we doing it the right way. And more times than not, kids gravitate to coolness, and sometimes coolness not presented in the right way. And we try to give it we try to be responsible with it. We have our fun, but we try to be responsible with the little kids.
No. Hey, y'all doing a great job. It's great to see. I've been seeing the videos y'all post and the posts. I'm like, wow, y'all from where it started,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
continues to grow and it's really cool to see, Rapheal, and you're doing a great thing for the city because like you said, nowadays we just do not have that. And back when I was younger, I just thank God my parents sacrificed and had the money to help me because I did do a lot of travel ball and I did do, quite camps that were a lot of money and it paid off, but it's still, you know, would have been nice if we had more things affordable for people who were living on the South Side or just people who didn't have it like that were middle class. So um, yeah, so I just appreciate what you're doing for the city of Fort Wayne, and it's just awesome. And even some of the comments are saying, yeah, put the work in and you'll reap the fruit. Shine light on the future. Give the kids a shot. They love that you're doing that, and that you have great pillars. So yeah, keep doing your thing, boss. And like I always try to incorporate in every episode. We kind of gonna switch gears just a little bit, but like I like to talk about adversity, because for me, I do this for a couple reasons because I believe adversity helped shape me into the woman that I'm growing into today. And I also think and believe that people try to run away from adversity or look at it as a bad thing when in reality, like adversity is a gift, and can help shape and mold you into the person that you're called to be. So I truly believe people should start embracing that. And I also help people also overcome certain adversities or hardships that they went through or are currently going through, to get back on track and step in to the best version of themselves. So can you, even just hearing a little bit of your story, you already talked about some of that adversity, but can you tell us, any of some key significant adversity or adversities that you had to overcome that has helped you on your journey to shape and mold you into the man that you are today?
That's a good one. So I would yeah, when I ruptured my disc in my back when I couldn't play basketball no more. Yeah, I would say
Oh, yeah,
cause like you say, like you grow up thinking you gonna hoop forever. You know what I mean? Like not even just hoop, but I'm gonna make money hooping. It's gonna how I'm gonna live my life. Like I'm gonna live. Like I
right,
was all the way in China. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I took the trip. I'm playing in China. I'm playing ball, whatever, and then you come down and it don't feel right, and then you go because they overseas they don't care. Like once you can't play, it's time to go. Like you know what I mean?
wow.
Like
So you
so I
you
come home, I
ruptured
get my
the disc overseas.
yeah in China yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah,
so I got an MRI. I came home, got an MRI, did all that, and then found out it was ruptured. The doctor was like, you can have surgery and it may work and you may be able to hoop in like a year or two or whatever, or you just you know what I mean, you just hang it up. And for me it was I had my first daughter when I was at Purdue. So by the time I graduate, she 3 damn near. So it's a thing where like 2 more years she 5. And I really couldn't like be broke. And you know what I mean? Like it was one of
right,
those decisions that you gotta make to where it's like what's important. And so I had to get a job or whatever. So I just stopped hooping. So it just was that was tough. So like sometimes when you don't end hoop, like a lot of people go through it where you don't end it how you want to end it, whether it's hoop, football, soccer, whatever, whether it's in high school, middle school, it eat at you for a while. So like I when I was done with hoop, I was done with hoop. Like I moved out of Indiana. Like it was
yeah,
I ain't want nothing to do with it. I ain't want nobody asking me about Purdue. I ain't want nothing. So I moved to Atlanta and got a job in Atlanta, whatever, got the best job I can get. And it showed me a lot about myself too, because I went from hooping to a Fortune 500 company. So I went to from that to like selling pharmaceutical drugs and like diabetes medicine. So it's a thing where like I know shit about that. You know what I mean? So I know
yeah,
nobody that did that, but it showed me like I could go do something else and still be successful at it. You know what I mean? And I
right,
could learn something else. You know what I mean? And it showed people too, like I'm living like it showed me I could be anywhere because I lived in Atlanta, but my territory was like everybody think Georgia black, but like Atlanta black, but like everything else, like especially you go north, like
yeah.
it
I've
get real
been,
stickish. Like
yeah,
so my territory was like north of Georgia. So like everybody talk about like the near lake in Georgia, like the Death Lake, whatever. Like that's my territory. Like that city coming, like the mountains, like the Dahlonega, like Dawson, like all that was me. So like it showed me I could go anywhere and be myself and fit in. You know what I mean?
mm,
And I ain't have to change who I was. Like you know what I mean? Like I still, I could walk in and be who and be proud of kind of like and not be intimidated, not be ran out, and no people had to listen to me. So like that helped me a little bit too. But then when I did, it also showed me how to grind my way back in the hoop. Because after I got over it, and I kind of was like, I got the itch to hoop again or whatever. I just started training kids at the rec center, and just like working out with kids and then doing stuff like that. But like for me, the adversity was just kind of not being able to hoop no more, having to find a different route, going to be somebody. Like I found, like my wife when I met her, I know I never hooped. Like this whole world now, like we go to Purdue games, like she blown away because she never even like until like a couple years ago when I started coming back because that's not something I when I moved to Atlanta I didn't tell nobody I used to hoop. Especially at
right,
that time too, nobody Purdue wasn't as known at basketball wise as they are now. So it's a
right,
thing where like it wouldn't have gave me a leg up nowhere anyway. So I kind of like became just a working man, and then it gave me a whole different side of life, and then I learned a lot, and then I you know what I mean, and then I was able to take that and bring that to my other side of life, and then it's like from there transitioning into basketball into the foundation, and then because I went into the foundation before the Big Ten, so we started the foundation before Big Ten Network, and then from there it just kind of blossomed. But it was all just kind of like a lot of transitions, like from leaving pharmaceuticals because I was to the point where I wanted to do something kind of that more impactful and just left. That was a real good job. Like I tell kids all the time, you want to have a job and retire, like find a way to get into pharmaceutical sales. Like that's everything people say it is. Like it's crazy. So like from that to the foundation was another transition, and into the Big Ten Network was another transition. So I would say just that time from China to Atlanta, that was the adversity. And then I think once you get over that, then it's kind of easy to get over different things that kind of pop up here and there.
Yeah. And one of the things that someone commented that I think is so true, even for your story, is that resilience shines through adversity. I feel like even though you had, some twists and turns in your story, you were still ambitious and resilient. Like you could have been like, well, you could have turned to the streets actually after, basketball didn't work out or something. You could have just been out here doing whatever, but you still decided to, start somewhere else and pick up and go. And that's definitely relatable because when I stopped hooping, it's like a part of you. You feel like it is like kind of your whole identity in a sense, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But because we've done it for so long, I'm like, okay, what's next? So I can relate on so many levels with that. Um, and once again, I love how you're tying in what uh you're saying with the questions I'm gonna ask, because I was gonna also ask you, like, how was playing sports or basketball, like in your case, for such a long, significant part of your life, like how did that help you develop the skills that you have now that you learned in your career? You kind of touched note on that a little bit, but you can add anything else that you think, because I also believe though in sports, it we don't look at it until we get older, but it helps us with so much different things in career, like communicating, learning how to
Yeah,
work
for
with
sure.
others, um, and
I mean,
just
yeah, like
building
for me, like,
relationships. So,
nah, my bad. I cut you off.
no,
My
you're
bad.
good. You're good. Go ahead.
I hear you. But no, for me, like you just said, like communication. Like I was like even at Purdue. At Purdue, I was a captain for 3 years. So like I got it was one of the things. One of the biggest things I learned like being a captain was like even with my kids, I'm like this too. Like I learned it to the point where I do with my kids. Like I got 3 kids, and like I can't talk to all 3 of my kids the same. Like they
Mm,
all take it differently. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like I could yell at one, she'll be all right. Like it's gonna rub her. She gonna hear it. And it's gonna, you know what I mean? She's gonna get it. I yell
yeah,
at the other one, he might start crying. You know what I
right.
mean? Or she might start crying. I'm nice to one, they may take advantage of it. I'm nice to another one, they get it. So it's the thing where like even with my teammates, like I could cuss one of my teammates out, he'll take it. But then if I cuss another teammate out, he may be messed up for 2 days. So like
Hmm.
you learn how to approach people. You learn how to kind of treat people kind of as who they are instead of treating everybody as the same. You learn that you kind of can't expect what you putting in from everybody because you see the work you putting in, and everybody may not be putting in that work. You know what I mean? So it's a thing where like, but you still got to put in your work. So I think that helps. I think the time management part is huge. Like I think the time management part, like there's
Mm,
no way I'm being late somewhere just because like I can remember like I was a captain, so I used to have to I used to have to be there like an hour early, and then if dudes was late, you had to run. Like
mm.
like Bryson Scott still mad at me, like for how many stairs he had to run. Like so, you know what I mean? So it's like you just you learn coaching.
Hold on.
You know what I mean?
Repeat that again, because you're going in and out. Repeat that last thing you said.
So
Hold on. Yeah.
that
It
I
might
think
it might be where you're driving. You're going a little bit. You're kind of freezing. All right. Say something real quick. Yeah, it looks like you're frozen, Rapheal. Um, Let me see if I could. All right. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Man, we he was getting into it, y'all. This has been a valuable episode. I really love this conversation we're having. Let's see if I can get him back going here shortly. All right, let's see if we can remove him and add this guy. Can add them. All right, Rapheal, you have to. It says before I can add you to the other one, you need to connect your mic and cam before I can add you to the stream with that other one that you open. It's all right. Champions adjust. We were right into it, y'all. Let's see if I can hear him. All right, can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yes,
I can hear
yes.
you.
You loud and clear. Yeah, that last
My bad.
people sentence. No, you're fine. You driving and I appreciate it. So you good. You probably through just, where you're driving through is the it's kind of cutting up, but you're good. If you remember what you were saying, you can start from right there.
What we talking about?
We were talking about how the skills you develop
Oh
from
yeah. Cause like time management, like yeah. Like
yeah,
being on
yeah,
time, places, and then like for me, like beating people, like especially the job I had, like the first job, like the real job I had when I was selling pharmaceuticals or whatever, like that was a job where I ain't have to go to an office. So I got to be in the territory. I got to set my day how I want to set it, my schedule, whatnot. So like it's easy for me to beat the other reps there, the competition. You know what I mean? Like the office open at 8. I know I can get there at 7:30. Y'all not gonna get there till 8:15. You know what I mean? So like that little competitive advantage, it helps you. I think the learning how to compete. I think sports just kind of like it gives you a real roundedness. Whether you do team sports, whether you do individual sports, I just think it gives you a certain level of competition level. And it don't got to be sports. Like it could be the drama club. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it could be goddamn show choir. But like anything where you out there just you trying to be your best, you practicing, you putting in extra time. You know what I mean? You getting help from your coach. You know what I'm saying? Because like now in my job now, like my ability to watch the game, like I could watch basketball all night. Like I could watch it all day. Just cause like when I played, like my thing was watching film. Like I don't get to be like a good defensive player if I ain't watch a lot of film. So like it's
right.
easy for me to do that now. So like I think like little things like that, it kind of help you a little bit. But I think sports for real, like sports or even like a chess club, like little stuff like that. I think all that stuff. I think competition is something that we should never get away from. And I think sometimes people don't want to compete no more. And I think the kids that want to compete and the kids that want to bust your ass, I think as long as they get some help along the way, those are gonna be the successful.
Mm, yes, I love that. Every answer you got gave has been so much value, Ray, and this has been such a great episode so far. And I just got, one last thing to ask you because I don't want it to end, but I also want you to get to your location safely. So, um, if you could tell anyone who is wanting to step into your career or something similar to it and doesn't know where to start, or just, anyone who is just struggling with their self confidence to bet on themselves and just chase their
Yeah.
dreams. Yeah, what are three things or advice that you would tell or give to them?
Check. I would say, because I skipped the part two of, because like before the Big Ten Network, when I wasn't getting responses back, like when I was reaching out or whatever I was trying, instead of just sitting there waiting, I started a podcast. So like
Mm,
I started a podcast. I started building my voice. I started practicing hearing like the mic, you know what I'm saying, getting reps, talking to people. So even if in case they did call, I was ready to audition. But also just so they could have something to listen to just in case they wanted to bring me in. So I would say and then like I did it on I jumped into a space where my former I started covering Purdue basketball, and it was something that no other player had done before. So like it threw people off at first, but like you gotta like you said, you gotta bet on yourself. You gotta be like to the point where like this gonna work. Like sometimes
yeah,
people tell you to have a backup plan, but sometimes like this is the plan. You know what I
right.
mean? Like ain't no backup plan. Like I get it, but like you know what I mean. So like I would say that I would say you got to be able to hear no, because like I done heard no way more than I done heard yeah. Like it's crazy. Like you got to be able to reach out and be able to get to the point where like they say no, you don't really care because you just go to the next one. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I think that's a big one. And then I would say, don't be afraid to ask people for help. Like, especially people that look like you. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
people will help you. People will help you, but people only gonna help you if they know you helping yourself. Like, especially as an adult. Ain't nobody babysitting no grown ass person. You know what I'm saying? But like, somebody see you out here trying for yourself. Somebody see you out here doing it the right way. They gonna try to help you. You know what I mean? So I think those few things really help. And then I think kind of like, dude, you got to put it. No matter what you do, no matter what you're trying to do, no matter what you say you want to do, if you're not putting in the work and the time, like that shit don't matter. Like you got to put in the time, you got to put in the work, and that's what's gonna show at the end of the day, the time and the work before anything. And then once you start showing that, I think everything else kind of help and fall in place. But I think that's kind of been the biggest thing that I done learned, and then I didn't really got help from people. I ain't really been able to do nothing by myself. I just think got a lot of help. And then
yeah,
when I got the opportunity, I kind of just did my part. And that's what I always tell the kids, like especially for me, like I can call a college coach for you, but only if you do your part. Because if you don't do your part and not call, I'm not gonna be able to call for the next person that do their part. So
yeah.
I think that's the biggest things that I done kind of put together, that I'm trying to put together.
No, well, you doing a great job. That's great advice, great tips. And keep doing your thing, bro. I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you once again for hopping on this podcast. It's been fun to catch up and just chop it up. And people I know have got extreme value from this. If you didn't see the whole episode, please make sure you watch the replay on my YouTube. And before I end this episode, Ray, where can people find you on all the socials, social media?
They just nah, don't find me. I don't want nobody to find me.
Oh,
You don't need to. You don't need to find me.
hey, I know y'all can find
Go
him
to
on
Crew Life. You can go to
Instagram.
Crew Life.
Y'all
Crew
seen I
Life.
tagged him on
That's about it.
Instagram, so but yeah, I appreciate you nonetheless. Please be safe driving to where you going, and we'll talk again soon. But as always, y'all, have a great rest of your Wednesday. Peace, love, and blessings. And I'll see y'all back here again next Wednesday. God bless you all. And have a great rest of your day, Ray.
I'll let you cut.
All right. Peace.